Ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is the cost of Concordia. New video internet historian just released on the main channel, so this is gonna be awesome. It is 46 minutes long, so I don't know if I have the time. Maybe there'll be two-part reaction video. I don't know. If I can, I'll try to do it at once. But yeah. So yeah, cost of Concordia. I think this is about some cruise liner. If comments tell me something about cruise liner. So yeah, I mean, this is a bit different than he does. But yeah, I guess there's going to be something funny about it. I hope it's not too dark, but internet historian doesn't call that dark. It's usually something funny and stupid thing that happens. So it's going to be awesome. Obviously, cruise liner. I mean, the most famous thing is Titanic. Everybody knows about that. But after that, I think I remember one incident from Philippines. I don't know. It was early 2010s, if I'm not remembering correctly. 4,000 people died, 4,000 plus or something like that. It hit another ship that was carrying some gasoline, lots of barrels of gasoline. Most people were sleeping when they died, but what happened was this ship crashed into the gasoline ship, and it just lit up. Everything lit up. The waters lit up. I mean, it's just fucked up. It's gasoline, so all waters are lit up now. So people, whoever could, most people were sleeping, and their commotion started. Most of them just died like that. But the people who tried to jump into the water, they jumped into the fire lit water just to escape. And yeah, by the way, there were sharks too. So there you go. If any story ends with, yeah, by the way, there is sharks too, that's the least of their problem. That's just fucked up situation. So that's just horrible. And obviously the most famous incidents from World War I. Also the Epic History TV World War I videos. In that, they told that there was a British ship that was sunk by a British U-boat, German U-boat, and about 2,000 people died. So that was also fucked up. There are lots of incidents like that, but I'm pretty sure this incident is going to be stupid, ridiculous, because internet historian is covering it. So it's going to be awesome. Remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out other reactions. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast wall, the playlist like Internet Historian, CGP, Gray, Lamino, Salmonellas, things like that. And yeah, let's watch this one.
The Costa Concordia, ship of dreams. It's been 8 years. I can still smell the buffets from their 5 restaurants. The casino and 3-story theater had hardly been used. The gym, the day spa, the sheets in her 1,500 luxurious cabins hadn't even been slept in. Costa Concordia cost $570 million to build. And you could tell. You could really tell.
That's epic.
I remember it like it was just a few years ago. We had left Civitavecchia, a port in Rome, and we were making our way to Savona. It was day 2 of our 7-day journey. But that's
it?
She was cursed.
Oh my god.
When she premiered, the traditional bottle of champagne bounced right off the side instead of smashing.
A bad omen.
Alright, I've heard that anybody who sails, that is really big thing. If the bottle doesn't break, people start to get, really like, whoa, anxiety starts in, I guess. So yeah, that is already a bad sign.
Superstitious type. Nothing could go wrong on Friday the 13th of January, 2012, on the 100th year anniversary of the Titanic, on a ship that's also only safety rated for 2-compartment flooding. Especially not when you have a 5-star max-level captain like Francisco Scatino, a man who mysteriously rose from head of security to the position of captain within just a couple of years.
What the fuck?
Knows exactly
Whoa. Security guard, supervisor, security officer, local security. So all things about security. And then captain. Now what the fuck was that?
Within just a couple of years.
He knows exactly what to do in case of an emergency.
For example, when he caused this emergency in 2008, when he crashed into a port in Sicily. And in 2010, in Warnemünde, Germany, when he was steering a different ship and came into port too fast and caused another collision.
I've got a good feeling about this. So let's set the scene.
He already has bad history. So how did the people who spent money on the boat like, yeah, we trust him with this. We trust him with this. 570 million. We trust him with this.
It's a beautiful evening. People are having fun on the slides, drinks at the bar. Antonio Magnotta.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a superstitious person at all. I'm a scientific person. But even I, you know how the Friday the 13th, 2012, just 100 or so years ago, Titanic sank, so it's anniversary or something. And you know what? That's not the time I would choose to go on the cruise ship. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not superstitious, but who's the I forgot the biologist. Richard Dawkins. Yeah, Richard Dawkins. Even he says it that I'm not a religious person. Obviously, I'm not superstitious. But if a house has a history of being haunted, I'm not gonna go sleep there for night or something. I'm gonna avoid. So even he says, so it's something like that. I would avoid it. I don't know why people. I guess people just didn't know that it's Friday the 13th and all these details, 2012 and 100 years anniversary of Titanic. I think they didn't know about that.
Is playing piano at the restaurant. Martin the magician is setting up for his show. And the ship is setting up for a little detour. It's called a sail-by salute. Basically, you get real close to the shore and honk the horn. The locals hate it, but the customers love it, and it's a tradition. Scatino, the captain, comes into the dining hall with a lady, Dominica Samorton. Remember this face because you'll be seeing a lot of it later. Scatino eats his dinner with her and socializes for a little while. Then he, Dominica, and the maitre d' finish up and excuse themselves. They're heading to the bridge. It's time for that sail-by salute. This time, they're going to get closer than ever. Just 1,500 feet from the island of Giglio. And how are they going to determine this distance? Well, of course, the captain is going to eyeball it. Apparently it's
like
not
a
an
maverick
to do. Scatino turns to the fella steering, his helmsman, Jacob Ruslibin. First interesting tidbit. Costa Crociere has hired Jacob from Indonesia at a rock-bottom price, and he's a bit of a newbie to the job. In fact, his profession hitherto, a painter and a cleaner. It's his first time steering a massive ship, and he's very excited. At least...
Tell me this is a joke. Internet historian just adding this fucking details. How the fuck you give $570 million cruise ship to someone this incompetent who doesn't even have history of doing this? People hire, professionals, not rookies like this. What the fuck?
We think he is. It's hard to tell because he doesn't speak English or Italian very well at all. Off to a good start. The second-in-command orders the helmsman to 290. Now, don't be confused by these numbers, they're just the degrees on a compass. At the same time, the captain whips out his cell phone and calls former captain Mario Palombo, who lives on the island. They chat about the safe distance to Giglio's shores. It's all very casual. Anyway, Mario says that the safe distance is between 0.3 and 0.4 miles from shore. The captain is going all in. This is not his first sail-by salute, so he's confident in what he's doing. We're going closer than we've ever been before. The captain's eyeballing it again. New heading of 300, he tells the helmsman. Downstairs, Martin is about...
Wait a second, so he just called the former captain just to rub it in or something because he asked for his advice and he's clearly not following it.
Cut his assistant in half. And of course, that means that there's already a lady inside this box. She's waiting for the cue, and then she'll poke her legs out. The captain is giving more orders.
Why did you told me that detail?
310.
What's gonna happen to her? Why did you told me that detail? Oh, I hope this is not really dark video, man. That would be really different from what he does, I guess.
Increase speed to 16 knots. Going this fast is going to be a fatal error.
Yeah.
But before we talk about that, let's talk about another big problem. Language barrier. Because at this point, the captain says 325, but the helmsman relays 315. So the first officer intervenes, and he goes, no, 335, which is also wrong. And then the captain clarifies, no, 325. The helmsman confirms 325. Their poor communication has them moving at a much wider angle than they think they are. However, the captain should and would know this, except for the next problem, complacency about procedure.
The standard procedure of a ship this large is for the third officer to give exact positional coordinates every time the captain gives a new directional order. But they're not doing that. 3:30, he says. The helmsman relays 3:30. The ship reaches 16 knots. The captain then turns to the second officer and instructs him to go to the left wing. That's these things here, and they basically exist so you can get a better view over the whole vessel. A few seconds pass, and then the mood starts to turn. Scatino notices white foam of waves breaking against the rocks directly in front of him in the distance. The Costa Concordia, right now, is almost 700 meters closer to the rocks than it should be. Without deviation, there is going to be a direct collision.
Oh, shit!
Scatino immediately commands the ship to start turning away. 335. Not enough. The captain shouts, 340. The captain yells, 350. Now, remember how I said that accelerating to 16 knots was a fatal error?
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's made this ship incapable of such a drastic turn.
It's a humongous ship. Cruise ships are humongous, and 16 knots are kind of fast, man, for the ship like that. So it's not gonna make major turns like that. What the fuck? Oh god, this is so stupid. He didn't follow procedures. He's incompetent. Who the fuck gave him the power like this?
What they've got is understeer. Here's an example.
The front end is not working. You're turning, and you're just going straight. You want to go over here, but you're going to end up over here.
So despite the order of 350, right now the bow is still only pointing at 327. Not nearly enough to miss the rock. And oh no, it's about to get worse. That language barrier again. In these critical moments where every second counts, the helmsman wrongly relays 340. The captain snaps back, 350 starboard or we end up on the rocks. The third officer goes to assist the helmsman. Now, don't get confused by the orders from here. We're changing over to rudder instructions. The captain yells, starboard 10, starboard 20, and still it's not enough. Hard to starboard. That means as hard as it'll go. But at this point, even if they clear these rocks, they need to get the rest of the ship to swing around it. So the captain yells, midship, which centers the rudder. The bow is now less than 150 meters from Skull Rock. Port 10.
Me.
But the helmsman only gets to port 5 before another order is given 2 seconds later. Port 20. They might just avoid disaster here, maybe. But then, oh no. One more time the helmsman cocks up at the worst possible moment. The helmsman goes to starboard instead of port, undoing the swing. 8 seconds later, he realizes the error and corrects, but it's too late. He has just turned a probable near miss into a sure hit. All they can do now is hold on as the bow of the ship narrowly passes by the rocks. Hard to port! The second officer yells, we're gonna hit! Collision.
Alright, I don't think I've ever been this pissed in any internet student video. What the fuck? If that captain was here, I would strangle that asshole. First of all, he screwed everything up, alright? Not following procedures, have no fucking, any experience in the past. Have the helmsman that doesn't even speak his language properly. Why would somebody do this? This is not the place to show incompetence, man. So, people who spend 570 million for this ship, why would they give him the power, the captaincy? I don't understand this. This is stupid. Even if the helmsman was speaking his language properly, and had some experience, they might have missed the rocks. Even there he fucked up. I'm sure some people died. Incidents like this, I'm sure of that.
Ad time. Downtown, Nordtown. It's day 56 of playing Russian roulette. Seems I never win.
Gonna drink all by yourself?
Somebody has to.
I hear you're a man who's good at finding folks.
I'm many things.
I'm looking for this fella. I gots to find him. It's breaking my little heart.
I'll see what I can do. I have contacts in thousands of servers in dozens of countries across the globe. And just like that, she was gone. The only thing she left was a calling card. Sometimes when you follow a case, it follows you back. NordVPN can protect my online data. But who can protect me from myself? When they said this job gets easier, it was just another lie. Forensics found his password spread all the way down the block. In a perfect world, we'd all use NordVPN. But I guess this isn't that kind of story. I took the brakes off my car. Man like me never really learned how to stop.
Shut the fuck up.
I took the steering wheel out too. I let the road take me where I'm supposed to be.
This is too good.
That's right, Toots. Your husband's dead. Merry Christmas. Go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian for a huge discount on a 2-year plan.
That follows. Otherwise your husband is gonna die. Even if you don't have a husband, he's gonna die.
The ship hits rocks on the port side. A 53-meter gash opens up in the hull, and thousands of tons of water begin pouring in. A loud scraping and bang is heard by all passengers. At the helm, there's panic. Rumblings in the dining room. Martin awkwardly pauses his...
Alright, first of all, anybody who knows about cruises, first thing that comes to their mind is Titanic. So imagine being there and just hearing that knock and vibration, suddenly everything's shaking. Oh, fuck me, the thoughts that go through people's head, like, that's it, we are gonna die. That's the first thought that goes through everybody's mind. We are all dead now. This is stupid. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I would never go on a cruise. There are lots. First of all, they're on the international water, so somebody could fucking kill you or something. Obviously, that's exaggeration, but still, there are lots of diseases on it. It's just, ugh. I mean, there was a latest video somewhere on a cruise where the cruise was because of the waves were shaking, all the furniture was falling on people. That's just stupid.
Act as he's helping his assistant into the box. Meanwhile, the lady inside is trapped and terrified. There's confusion across the ship. All of the crew off shift come back on duty. All officers run to the bridge. Technical crews run down to the lower decks to assess damage. On connection with the rocks, they lose propulsion and slow to 8.3 knots. And they are now adrift. Close the watertight doors at stern. Enormous volumes of water are pouring in. So much so that within 29 seconds of collision, all 6 engines stop working through flooding. 22 seconds later, a blackout happens. Lights, electrics, water.
That's what you need, isn't it?
Everything.
Blackout.
The captain orders the helmsman hard starboard. This is the final position of the rudder before power to that, too, is lost. The Costa Concordia, now without power, is drifting starboard, plunged into absolute darkness. A quick breakdown of the flooding. When the Concordia struck land, it tore open 3 watertight compartments. At first, compartment 5, which filled very rapidly. Then 6 more slowly, 4 shortly after. Then 7, 8 and 3. Modern ships are built to withstand 2 compartment breaches. These compartments especially, though, are a problem because they contain the engines and the electrics. These main generators give power to the whole ship. From propulsion motors to rudder to hotel functions, pretty much everything. When they went out, the ship was a functionless, sinking cage. A few seconds later, the emergency batteries for internal lighting and communications
I think they should have designed where there's spaces out engines, even the spare engines in the distance. So if one side goes out, other side is there, so they could still use it for emergency power or something. There you go. As I'm saying
when
it, there you
come
go.
back on, Martin has vanished. He's ditched the stage, and it caused a huge panic in the theatre as passengers are trying to flee to their cabins and to muster stations. People already in their cabins come out and start putting on life vests. Staff rally and try to calm everyone down. Everything is fine. There's no need for vests. Please return to your cabins. The emergency generator starts. All of the watertight doors close except for door 12, which is jammed. The captain calls Pilon, the chief engineer, as the ship begins to list on the port side. There's water coming in? Yes, there's water. But where? The engine room. But a lot of water? Yes! There's water, you can't go
No, just
down.
a bit.
Let's
Just
go
a
down
little
the
bit.
other side. In a moment we'll start the pumps, I'll let you know. In the theatre, the whole magic box apparatus slides right off the stage and falls into the crowd, further increasing panic. On the bridge, an announcement is being prepared. They are going to lie to prevent a panic. Let's just say we have a blackout. The deputy chief engineer enters the engine control room. He confirms to the bridge that at least compartments 5, 6, and 7 are flooded.
Look at him dashing.
Announcements are made.
The captain to inform you that due to an electrical fault which is currently under control, we're currently in a blackout. Our technicians are working to resolve the situation.
That's the actual audio.
Of developments as they occur. Thank you for your attention.
Coincidentally, at the same time in the restaurant, they're playing My Heart Will Go On, and it's very much not helping the situation. The captain calls the cost a crisis.
If I were there, anybody who's playing that song, I would punch that guy. Like, shut the fuck up. You're not playing this song now.
Unit, Roberto Ferrarini. He tells the crisis unit that they've hit a rock, that they're assessing damages, and that they are also in a blackout. The crisis office says to reverse the ship up onto shore. Well, how are you going to do that? You don't have power to the rudder, let alone the engine. You know, hoist the sails? Anyway, around this time, the wind direction creates a starboard list, and the ship begins to turn anyway, drifting right back towards the shore, which is a very good thing because you want the ship to end up as close to shore as possible. A panicked passenger senses that something is off. This isn't like any electrical problem that she's ever seen. Plus, there was a massive crashing noise and now the ship is tilting. So, she contacts her daughter in Italy. The daughter then calls the police, and the police call the harbour master. While that goes on, a conversation between Pilon and Ambrosio. The diesel is not starting. The captain asks the engine room, but where have we made contact? Thinking that the incoming water can be reduced. Captain, here everything is lost. The electrical panel, everything. They're saying at this point that the ship is going down. The captain calls Roberto Ferrarini again. Actually, 2 compartments have been flooded, but don't worry, the ship's stability isn't in danger. Wrong. Passengers begin going to muster stations on their own initiative. The cruise director says, "We have a lot of people at muster stations that I do not want to fall overboard. Do we make an announcement to tell them to go to the lounges?" Bozio says, "I think that's best." The harbour master from Livorno calls the ship. The captain tells them that
God, what a shitty captain. Seriously, I hate this guy. I mean, he's even handling the situation badly, so it could end up more casualties.
we just have a blackout. How long has this blackout been going on? About 20 minutes. Have you asked passengers to put on life vests? It's just a blackout. I gotta go. The harbour master is suspicious. He says to his superiors that he thinks something more is going on. He calls a patrol boat to the area and asks them to look at the ship. Another problem. The fan on the emergency diesel generator isn't working properly. Pilon manually has to turn the thing on and off with a screwdriver so that it doesn't overheat and cause a fire. The captain is on the phone to the lower decks, asking pointless questions, like, is it still flooded? Yes. Yes, it is. The captain is essentially in denial.
Somebody throw this asshole overboard and somebody take charge. Doesn't matter if the person doesn't have experience, because you'll still be better than this asshole.
The situation. The harbour master calls again. Finally, he says, the ship is taking on water through an opening in the left side and the ship is listing. He qualifies with, no one dead or injured. The harbour master asks if he needs help. Just a tugboat? When in reality, they need a full rescue. With 3 compartments flooded, the captain finally realizes that things are really bad and they are not going to improve. The Coast Guard orders every available ship to the scene. Meanwhile, up with the passengers, the cruise director's assistant says, everything's under control. Please return to your cabins or hang about in the lounges, no problem. She said this despite knowing it was wrong and that it further endangered lives. Most passengers at this point, though, aren't listening to this nonsense.
That should be criminal charges.
And they're busy figuring out how to abandon ship. Bang, 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 bang. Local television has already picked up the story and they begin broadcasting live radio feed from the bridge.
Hey, Capo.
Captain, the passengers are going on board the boats. Okay, let them go to shore. So then general emergency? Wait, let me talk to Ferrarini. We risk the emergency generators that do not have cooling. It has cooling problems, 100 degrees. The cooling fan has stopped. Pilon calls the bridge and tells the safety officer they need to evacuate. The safety officer relays this to the captain, but after no response, he orders the engine room to evacuate on his own. The captain says, "No, stay. We're leaving." So what do? General emergency? The captain tells Ferrarini that he's abandoning ship. Abandoned ship! Another announcement is made.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The situation is under control. Please remain calm. But at this time, proceed to your muster station. They're located outside on deck 4.
The Livorno Coast Guard calls again.
I'm
The
gonna
captain
kill this
declares
guy.
Distress. The Coast Guard officially calls for rescue operations. They contact Pietro Mille, the helicopter base commander, who then calls in every available pilot as he rushes down to the helicopter base. Pilon shuts down the emergency generator for the final time. The first rescue vessel arrives. By this point, the lifeboats are already going. Luckily, the ship is very close to shore. Oh, perhaps too close to shore. The ship forcefully runs aground, creating an uneven center of gravity, and it begins heavily listing starboard. The captain issues a general emergency on board. The announcement to abandon ship is finally called and alarms ring out, and with that,
But now,
comes
asshole.
panic. And now that they're listing, with many of the lifeboats too awkwardly positioned to enter the water, there aren't enough readily available, and they have to start going back and forth to the shore, picking people up and dropping them off.
This is
The patrol
horrible.
boats report to the Livorno harbour master that the ship has run aground and is listing heavily. So the harbour master asks the captain about it, and the captain says, no, the ship is still floating. In fact, we're trying to maneuver it onto the shore. They know he's lying. Hold on, I'm reversing it. Beep, 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 beep. The captain then says to bottom out the starboard anchor. So they drop out the anchors, but let out
I don't know what happened after this, but I hope that guy got, criminal charges because this is bullshit.
too much chain, effectively rendering them useless. The deputy mayor of Giglio, Mario Pellegrini, and tobacco shop owner Giovanni Rossi arrive
With a
at the
Ferrari.
harbour. They watch the scene unfold. As the
It's
first of
awesome.
the lifeboats arrive on shore, the deputy mayor takes the initiative and races to board one of the lifeboats, returning to the ship, and starts trying to find someone in charge. He gives up and starts helping passengers.
What?
Scatino tells everyone to leave and take radios. But
He
not
did what? Oh, that's a badass, man. He just went on the ship like, I don't give a fuck, I'm rescuing the people. Oh, I love that.
before changing out of his uniform and into a nice suit. Priorities. Dimitri Christidis
Italians,
and Silvia
eh?
Coronica leave with him. The maitre d' and Sir Morton both get out of there. By this point, approximately 300 people are still on the ship. Millet reaches the helicopter base. The first helicopter, a slow-moving Augusta Bell, was already rising from the tarmac for the hour-long flight south. Bozio is the last crew member left on the bridge, coordinating evacuation. He then leaves to help passengers board lifeboats. The bridge is now abandoned. And then, the ship's black box stops working. Apparently there were technical problems with it. That means, from
the
here,
black box.
things are going to get a little foggy in detail. A while later, rescue helicopters arrive, but they're struggling to find the ship because they're expecting it to still be well above water. Passengers are scaling down the port side by ladder as lifeboats return to pick them up.
This is no joke. Oh my goodness. It was no joke, mi amor. Yes.
You're not allowed to make a film movie.
I'm allowed.
Who say you are?
A second helicopter, a faster model, sets off. The ship stops healing and comes to a final resting place. Now the Coast Guard
You're not allowed to make film. Bitch, he's not on the ship. You can't tell him what to do now.
calls the captain because he's just learnt that the captain has abandoned ship. The captain claims, no, actually I slipped and I fell into one of the lifeboats. I'm a klutz. But now that I'm on board, I may as well head back to shore. DeFalco tells the captain to get the fuck back on board. And the captain kind of acts confused and then effectively refuses. So the captain makes it to shore. From here, we only have mainstream news reports to rely on, so it's not going to be super accurate. But they say that Giglio's police chief then finds 110 survivors on the rocks at Point Gabbianara. And among them is the captain. It's not known whether the captain helped anyone while he was there, and in fact, the police chief claimed that he just sat on the rocks and watched other people do the rescuing. A while later, a rescue boat picks up the captain and takes him to the harbour. He speaks to the police. He then finds the ship's onboard chaplain, Father Rafael Molina, and cried to him for about 15 minutes. Then he goes to the harbour master's office to receive probably the biggest dressing down of his entire life. Port authorities ask the taxi driver to take the captain back to his hotel. The captain takes the 30-second cab ride to the Bahamas hotel. According to the cabbie, he was beaten like a dog. He was cold and afraid. He only asked me where he could buy a pair of fresh socks. But then he perked right up again and gave an interview to a news crew. He told them that he was the last to leave.
The captain is usually the last to abandon ship. What happened, Captain?
We were the last to leave the ship.
All they
Look at
said
that.
they rescued
You see
the
that? See that?
ship.
Lying shit.
On Sunday morning, a South Korean couple is found in their cabin, safe but shivering. They had slept through the crash and woke up unable to exit their cabin.
Oh,
The last
fuck.
survivor, Manrico Giampandroni, was found with a broken leg. He was the cabin service director. In the end, 32 people died.
Oh,
the final
come
body
on.
wasn't discovered until nearly 3 years later. A crew member, Russell Rebello, and it's believed that he died a hero helping passengers off the ship. The Costa Concordia was the largest cruise ship disaster since the Titanic. And then there's the ship.
That many people died. That asshole captain should be held accountable for that.
This is what happens to a 110,000-ton cruise liner when it's left half rolled over in the ocean.
God, look at that. You know what? I have to go. This is half a video. This is the first part, I guess. And I'm gonna blow a gasket if I just watch it too much. This is bullshit. The captain should be punched repeatedly and put in jail, for fuck's sake. And the people who put him in charge, they should be in the jail too. I mean, is there such thing as accountability? What the fuck? You just risk all these people's life? Yeah, people, I guess that was part 1. I'm pissed right now. Just stay tuned for part 2. I'll release it soon too, I guess. And if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down if you want to, say anything that I was missing something or whatever. Check out the cards for the playlist, check out the end cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.